CNN is continuing to embarrass themselves over this missing Malaysian plane. And since they're now running out of angles to cover the story from, they decided to do a poll on what people think about it. And then, of course, they'll proceed to talk about the poll for a week straight, or actually at the rate they're going, probably for like 2 months straight. So they found out that 79% of us think that there are no survivors from the plane. Not surprising. 42% of us think hijackers took the airplane down. 57% suspect terrorism to be afoot. And here's my favorite. 9% believe space aliens or beings from another dimension were involved. Now, your first reaction to that might be, really? 9% is kind of high. But actually, I'm not surprised by the 9% number, because I think at least 5% of that is people fucking around and saying, yeah, I believe aliens are involved, CNN. These guys are so silly. So that's not what's surprising to me. What's surprising is that they bothered in a poll about the missing plane to ask a question about whether or not people think aliens were involved. Stop and think about this. CNN supposedly has the reputation of the most trusted name in news. And now they've stooped to this low. How sad is that, man? Look, I know this is something I've been talking about a lot recently, almost to the point where I'm even annoying myself about it. But it's such an indicator of what their main concern is nowadays. Their main concern is ratings. And the way that you get ratings is by cheating. Essentially, they're cheating. They learned that the more that they do breaking news, the more people watch. So now they're doing breaking news when there's no breaking news. We did the story recently about how they said, breaking news, the Titanic sank 102 years ago. That would be the opposite of breaking news. Or they'll put breaking news, and then they proceed to talk about how there's absolutely nothing new going on with the plane. But they've gotten even more silly, because it was bad enough when they originally brought up, Don Lemon was like, well, people are asking me on Twitter, so I'll just entertain the question. Do you guys think this was a black hole? No, it wasn't a black hole. If a black hole was here, it would have sucked up the entire Earth, not just one plane. And also a black hole, are we really entertaining this idea? I mean, but now you went all the way to aliens. You did a poll and you actually asked a question about aliens. How many things are going on in the world right now that demand our attention more than this? Whether it's the Nigerian girls that are being kidnapped by Boko Haram, an extremist jihadist group, whether it's the civil war still going on in Syria where people are dying like crazy, whether it's the genocide that's on the verge of happening in the Congo, if not already happening, whether it's Vladimir Putin lining up on the border of Ukraine and trying to bring back the old Soviet Union, whether it's income inequality and the fact that now 85 people in the world have more money than the bottom 3.5 billion people. 85 people more money than half the Earth. But they're not covering this stuff. What they're covering is, do you guys think aliens might have been involved with that missing plane that went away 2 months ago? Is this really the news that people need to know right now? This is what you should be taking your time on? God, it drives me crazy. And I'll also just throw this out there that the statistician Nate Silver did a LexisNexis transcript search to look into CNN's coverage further, and he found that the term Flight 370 has been used 13,348 times since March 7th. In other words, they've been speaking about this and mentioning it 10 times per hour. Once every 6 minutes on CNN, they talk about the plane. It's so sad. And just to contrast that with something, inequality is only mentioned 0.14 times an hour. This is mentioned once every 6 minutes, the plane once every 6 minutes. Inequality mentioned 0.14 times an hour. And also, not every segment they do about inequality gives the facts and says, hey, this is why this is bad and this is why this is wrong. They might talk about it within the context of, well, it's not that bad right now. That might have some people on who are more conservative that bring it up in that light. So it's even less than 0.14 times an hour. It's upsetting, man. It really is upsetting. I guaranteed you guys, and I told you that the ratings are going to drop because people are going to realize that they're cheating, and this isn't actually breaking news. That's already happening. But also, I should be celebrating this because the more that CNN does this garbage, the more that the mainstream media sucks ass, the better new media does, which means the better we do and SecularTalk does. So by all means, guys, go right ahead. We'll fill the void of actual information.